They promised me forever, but I'm sleeping alone in a castle full of lies.
Kaito, you should have knocked. You want your alliances? Your power? Fine. But I'm taking something far more valuable.
Pain doesn't break you, child. It awakens what was always inside.
Kaito stood in the grand hall of the Crystal Moon Palace, his hand resting gently on his growing belly as he watched the twin kings who had promised him forever. The marble floors beneath his feet felt colder than usual, or perhaps it was just his heart beginning to freeze. He had been living in this beautiful castle for almost a year now, married to both Alpha Kings Renjiro and Takeshi, the most powerful rulers in all the kingdoms. Everyone said he was the luckiest Omega in the world. Everyone was wrong. The pregnancy had been difficult from the start. Morning sickness that lasted all day, constant tiredness, and a loneliness that ate at him like a slow poison. Renjiro and Takeshi were always busy with kingdom matters, always in meetings, always somewhere else. At first, Kaito understood they were kings with responsibilities, but understanding did not make the empty bed warmer at night or fill the hole in his heart that grew bigger each day. Kaito remembered the day they met him. He had been working in his family's small bakery in the village, covered in flour, laughing with customers. Renjiro walked in first, tall and serious, with midnight black hair and eyes like storm clouds. Then came Takeshi, with the same face but softer edges, silver hair that caught the sunlight, and a smile that made Kaito's heart skip. They said they smelled their destined mate the moment they entered the shop. They courted him with flowers, poems, and promises of a love that would never die. Kaito believed every word because he loved them with his whole heart. The wedding was magical. The entire kingdom celebrated for 7 days. Kaito wore robes made of moonlight silk, and both kings placed matching rings on his finger. They promised to protect him, cherish him, and love him until their last breath. Those promises felt real then. But today was different. Today, Kaito finally understood why his husbands had grown so distant. He had gone to Renjiro's private study to bring him lunch because the king had missed breakfast again. What he found there broke something inside him that he knew would never fully heal. Renjiro was not alone. Lady Sakura, the elegant daughter of the Northern Lord, sat on Renjiro's desk, her hand touching Renjiro's face in a way that was far too familiar. They were laughing together, sharing secrets, looking at each other the way Renjiro used to look at Kaito. When Renjiro finally noticed Kaito standing in the doorway, he did not jump away from Sakura. He did not apologize. He simply looked annoyed. That look hurt more than anything. Kaito dropped the lunch tray, the sound of breaking dishes echoing through the halls, and ran. He ran through the palace corridors, tears streaming down his face, his heart pounding so hard it hurt. He did not stop until he reached his private garden, the one place in the entire palace that still felt like his. He collapsed on a stone bench, sobbing into his hands, his whole body shaking. The baby inside him kicked as if trying to comfort him, but it only made him cry harder. How could he bring a child into this world when their fathers did not even love their papa anymore? What kind of life would that be? That evening, Takeshi found him still sitting in the garden. The silver-haired king approached slowly, his face showing concern, but Kaito could not trust it anymore. When Takeshi tried to explain that Sakura was just a friend, Kaito laughed bitterly. He asked Takeshi when was the last time either of them had been kind to him. Takeshi had no answer. The silence stretched long and painful. Finally, the king said he had been busy with kingdom work, that there was a threat from the Eastern Empire. But Kaito was done with excuses. He told Takeshi he would be moving to the west wing of the palace. That night, alone in his new room, Kaito made a decision. He would not let this heartbreak destroy him. He would not let his child grow up watching their papa fade away from sadness. He was stronger than this pain. He placed both hands on his belly and whispered a promise to his unborn child. He promised that no matter what happened, they would be loved, they would be safe, and they would never, ever feel unwanted the way Kaito felt right now. This promise became his anchor, the thing that kept him going when everything else felt impossible. What Kaito did not know yet was that Renjiro and Takeshi's betrayal ran deeper than just emotional neglect. Dark secrets were hiding in the shadows of the Crystal Moon Palace, secrets that would soon come to light and change everything. But for now, in this moment of heartbreak, Kaito began building walls around his heart, walls that would protect him, walls that would make him stronger, walls that would eventually become the foundation of his revenge.
3 weeks passed like a slow, painful dream. Kaito kept to himself in the West Wing, only leaving for medical checkups and quiet walks. The palace staff whispered about the separation. The Omega, who was supposed to be their beloved royal, had become a ghost haunting his own home. His belly grew rounder each day, but his face grew thinner, his eyes more tired. He was eating just enough to keep the baby healthy, but food had lost all taste. Dr. Hiro, the palace healer, grew more worried with each visit. He told Kaito that stress was dangerous for the pregnancy, that he needed to rest more, to find peace somehow. But how could Kaito find peace when his heart was breaking? How could he rest when every night he lay awake wondering what he had done wrong? The doctor gave him special teas for sleep and vitamins for strength, but there was no medicine for a broken heart. Then came the night that changed everything. Kaito woke up to voices outside his window. 2 servants were talking in hushed tones, but Kaito heard every word, and each one felt like a knife to his chest. They spoke about how King Renjiro had arranged a marriage contract with Lady Sakura's family before he ever met Kaito, how the Northern Alliance needed to be secured and Sakura was the price. But that was not the worst part. The servants also whispered about King Takeshi and Lord Yuki, the beautiful Omega son of the Eastern Duke. Apparently, Takeshi and Yuki had been meeting secretly for months. The servants giggled about how perfect they looked together. Their words painted a picture that made Kaito sick to his stomach. He was being replaced, not by one person, but by 2. The next morning, Kaito confronted both kings in the throne room. He walked in with his head held high, even though his legs shook. Renjiro and Takeshi sat on their golden thrones, looking every bit the powerful rulers they were. When Kaito demanded the truth about Sakura and Yuki, both kings exchanged glances. For a moment, Kaito hoped they would deny everything, that the servants had been lying, that this was all a terrible misunderstanding. Instead, Renjiro confirmed it all. He spoke in that cold, businesslike voice. He explained that marrying Sakura would secure the Northern Alliance, bring wealth and military support. He said it was his duty as a king. He even had the nerve to say that this did not change how he felt about Kaito. Takeshi was quieter, but his guilt was written all over his face. He admitted that Yuki understood the pressures of royalty in ways Kaito could not. He said he never meant to hurt Kaito. He promised that once the baby was born, they would figure everything out. Kaito listened to every excuse, every justification. When they finished talking, he smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had finally seen the truth. He told them both very calmly that they were free to marry whoever they wanted, because he was leaving. The kings jumped from their thrones, suddenly paying attention. Leave? Omegas did not leave their alpha mates, especially not pregnant Omegas carrying royal heirs. Renjiro demanded he stay, his voice turning harsh and commanding. Takeshi begged, his voice breaking with emotion. But Kaito was done being commanded and done with false emotions. He had already sent letters to his family, already packed his essential belongings. The only thing keeping him here was the law that said pregnant Omegas carrying royal children belonged to the crown. That night, Kaito made the hardest decision of his life. He would escape. He contacted an old friend, Maya, who worked in the palace kitchens. Maya had always been kind to him, always ready with a warm smile and gentle words. She agreed to help without asking questions. Together, they planned his escape for the next full moon, when the palace guards would be distracted by the monthly ceremony. But fate had other plans. 2 days before the planned escape, Kaito collapsed in his garden. The stress, the heartbreak, the constant crying had taken their toll on his body. He woke up in the medical wing with Dr. Hiro standing over him, looking grave. The doctor told him he had almost lost the baby. The pregnancy had become high risk. He needed complete bed rest, no stress, constant monitoring. Leaving now would put both his life and the baby's life in serious danger. Kaito wanted to scream. He wanted to rage against the unfairness of it all. He was trapped in a palace with 2 men who did not truly love him, forced to stay because his own body betrayed him. He lay in that medical bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling more alone than ever before. The baby kicked inside him, a reminder of the innocent life depending on him. For their sake, he would have to stay, for now. What Kaito didn't realize was that his collapse had shaken something in both Renjiro and Takeshi. Seeing him so pale and lifeless, hearing the doctor say they might lose both Omega and child, made them question everything for the first time. But realizations that come too late often mean nothing at all. The damage was already done, and Kaito's heart had already begun turning from soft and loving to hard and strategic. The gentle baker's son was dying, and someone stronger was being born in his place.
6 months passed in a strange sort of numbness. Kaito gave birth to twins, 2 beautiful baby boys with tiny faces and strong cries that filled the palace with new life. He named them Akira and Haruto, names meaning bright and sunlight, because he wanted them to have light even when his own world felt so dark. The moment he held them in his arms, something changed inside him. Love flooded through every part of his being, a fierce, protective love that was stronger than any pain Renjiro and Takeshi had caused. The twin kings were present at the birth, and they cried when they saw their sons for the first time. They made promises again, sweet words about being better fathers, better husbands, about changing everything. Kaito listened and nodded, but he did not believe them. He had learned that words without actions were just pretty lies. He would watch what they did, not what they said. For the first month, both kings tried. They visited the nursery every day, held their sons, even changed diapers despite the servant's shock. Renjiro brought gifts, expensive toys and clothes that the babies were too young to appreciate. Takeshi read them stories in his gentle voice, even though they could not understand the words yet. But Kaito noticed they never stayed long, never missed important meetings for the babies, never chose their sons over kingdom business. And they certainly never tried to repair their relationship with Kaito. They acted like being good fathers was enough, like Kaito should be grateful they were paying attention to the children at all. Renjiro still spent his afternoons with Lady Sakura, and Takeshi still had his private meetings with Lord Yuki. The marriage contracts were moving forward. The betrayal continued. One evening, while nursing Akira and Haruto, Kaito had a visitor. Elder Grandmother Yuna, the oldest and wisest wolf in the kingdom, came to his chambers. She was ancient, with white hair and eyes that seemed to see everything. She sat down beside Kaito and watched him feed his babies with a small, knowing smile. Then she told him a story about his bloodline that changed everything. Kaito's mother had been an Omega, yes, but his grandmother had been a rare Silver Moon Omega, born only once every 100 years. Silver Moon Omegas possessed special abilities when their hearts were broken by their true mates. They could channel their pain into power, becoming stronger than any alpha. The ability was triggered by betrayal and activated by choice. Grandmother Yuna told Kaito that she had seen the signs in him, the way his eyes occasionally flashed silver when he was angry, the way plants in his garden grew unusually fast when he touched them while crying. Kaito thought she was telling fairy tales until she asked him to focus on the candle across the room. He stared at it, thinking about all his pain, all his anger, and the flame suddenly grew 3 times larger. His eyes widened in shock. Grandmother Yuna nodded, satisfied. She told him the power would grow stronger as he learned to control it, but he must keep it secret. If Renjiro and Takeshi knew what he was becoming, they might try to bind his powers, or worse. Over the next 3 months, Grandmother Yuna visited him secretly, teaching him to control his awakening abilities. Kaito learned to move objects with his mind, to hear conversations from far away, to make people feel emotions he projected. The training was hard, often leaving him exhausted, but it gave him something he had not felt in a long time: hope. He was not helpless anymore. He was not just a heartbroken Omega waiting for scraps of affection. He was becoming something powerful. During this time, Kaito also began paying attention to kingdom politics. He read every document he could find, listened to servant gossip, learned about alliances and enemies. He discovered that the Northern Alliance Renjiro wanted so badly was not as stable as everyone thought. Lady Sakura's family had massive debts and were desperate for the marriage to save them from ruin. The Eastern Duke, Yuki's father, was secretly planning to overthrow Renjiro and Takeshi and take the throne for himself, using his son as a distraction. Both kings were walking into traps, too blinded by their own desires to see the danger. Kaito could warn them. He should warn them. But a dark part of him, the part that had been hurt so deeply, wondered why he should save people who destroyed him. Let them face the consequences of their choices. Let them learn that actions have prices. But then he looked at his sleeping sons and knew he could not let the kingdom fall into chaos, not for the king's sake, but for his children's future. Akira and Haruto deserved to grow up in a stable, safe empire. So Kaito made a new plan. He would not save Renjiro and Takeshi out of love. He would save them and then take everything they had taken from him, their power, their pride, and their kingdom. He started small, using his new abilities to gather information and influence key nobles. He befriended the servants, who loved him because he was always kind and respectful. He won over the palace guards by remembering their names and asking about their families. Slowly, quietly, he built a network of people loyal to him, not the kings. People who saw how he had been treated and felt it was wrong. Grandmother Yuna watched his progress with approval. She told him that true power was not about strength alone, but wisdom, strategy, and understanding people. Kaito was learning all 3. The gentle baker's son was completely gone now, replaced by someone calculating and determined, someone who knew exactly what he wanted and how to get it. By the time Akira and Haruto reached 6 months old, Kaito was ready to make his first move. He would expose the Northern Alliance's financial problems and the Eastern Duke's betrayal. He would save the kingdom from these threats, and in doing so, he would show everyone, especially Renjiro and Takeshi, that they had thrown away something precious. That would be the beginning of their pain. Just the beginning.
The Grand Council meeting happened on the first day of winter, when snow covered the palace grounds and made everything look pure and clean. Inside the throne room, however, nothing was pure anymore. Kaito stood before the entire court, holding documents that would destroy multiple noble families and shake the kingdom to its core. Renjiro and Takeshi sat on their thrones, confused about why their Omega had requested this audience. They had not really talked to him in months, too busy with their new relationships and political games. Kaito began speaking in a clear, strong voice that surprised everyone. He presented evidence of the Northern Lord's deaths, documents showing that Lady Sakura's family owed money to multiple kingdoms and had planned to use the marriage to drain the Crystal Moon treasury. He showed letters proving they had no real military support to offer, that every promise was a lie designed to save themselves from poverty. The court erupted in shocked whispers. Renjiro's face turned pale as he realized he had almost bound their kingdom to a sinking ship. Then Kaito turned to the Eastern Duke's plot. He revealed intercepted letters showing plans for rebellion, how Lord Yuki had been sent specifically to distract King Takeshi, while his father positioned soldiers along their borders. He presented testimony from servants who had overheard planning meetings. The Eastern Duke stood up, shouting that it was all lies, but Kaito calmly asked the guards to check the Duke's chambers. They found more evidence there, exactly where Kaito said it would be. The Duke was arrested on the spot, along with several other conspirators. The entire court stared at Kaito like they were seeing him for the first time. This was not the quiet, sad Omega who had hidden away in the West Wing. This was someone powerful, someone who had single-handedly prevented two major disasters. The nobles began whispering that perhaps the kings had been foolish to neglect such a valuable mate. Renjiro and Takeshi sat frozen on their thrones, understanding dawning in their eyes. After the council meeting, both kings came to Kaito's chambers. They thanked him for saving the kingdom, their voices heavy with shame. They apologized for everything, for the betrayal, the neglect, the pain they had caused. Renjiro admitted he had been a fool, chasing political power when he had already had something more valuable. Takeshi cried, saying he understood now what he had lost, that Lord Yuki had only been using him all along. Kaito listened to their apologies, their promises to make things right, their desperate pleas for another chance. Then he spoke words they never expected to hear. He told them that he forgave them, that he understood they had been trying to do what they thought was best for the kingdom. But forgiveness did not mean forgetting. Forgiveness did not mean going back to how things were. He had changed. They had changed. Their relationship had died the moment they chose others over him. However, Kaito said he would not leave, not because he loved them anymore, but because Akira and Haruto deserved to know their fathers and to grow up as the princes they were. He proposed a new arrangement. They would live as co-parents, ruling together for the kingdom's sake, but there would be no romantic relationship between them. He would have his own life, his own chambers, his own freedom. They would be partners in ruling and raising their children, nothing more. The kings were devastated, but they had no choice but to accept. They had broken something that could not be repaired with simple apologies. Over the following months, this new arrangement began working surprisingly well. Kaito took on official duties, advising on kingdom matters with the wisdom he had developed through his pain. The people loved him because he understood their struggles, having experienced suffering himself. He became known as the Silver Moon Guardian, a title that acknowledged his special powers, which had become public knowledge during the trials. Renjiro and Takeshi proved to be good fathers to Akira and Haruto, spending real time with them, teaching them, playing with them. But they watched Kaito from a distance, with broken hearts, seeing what they had lost too late. Lady Sakura had been banished in disgrace, and Lord Yuki was imprisoned for his father's crimes. The kings had no one but themselves and the consequences of their choices. As time passed, Kaito healed, not because the pain disappeared, but because he learned to carry it differently. He found joy in his children's laughter, purpose in helping his people, and strength in his abilities. He made real friends among the nobles and servants. He started painting again, a hobby from his youth, filling the palace with beautiful art. He lived a full life that did not revolve around waiting for someone to love him back.
Sometimes, late at night, Renjiro and Takeshi would see lights in Kaito's chambers and know he was awake. They wanted to go to him, to hold him, to turn time back. But they had learned that some mistakes could not be undone. All they could do was be the best fathers possible and respect the boundaries Kaito had set. Years later, young Akira asked his papa why he did not live with his fathers like other families. Kaito smiled and told his son that every family was different, that love came in many forms. He explained that the most important thing was not living under the same roof, but respecting each other, being honest, and never taking people for granted. He told both his sons that they should always choose kindness, that they should value people who loved them, because once trust was broken, it was nearly impossible to fully restore. The Crystal Moon Empire prospered under the unusual arrangement of 3 rulers, 2 kings who had learned wisdom through loss, and 1 Omega who transformed pain into power. Kaito never remarried, though many sought his hand. He had learned that he was complete on his own, that he did not need a romantic partner to be whole. His love for his children, his people, and himself was enough. As for Renjiro and Takeshi, they spent the rest of their lives trying to earn back even a fraction of what they had thrown away, knowing they would never succeed, but trying anyway, because that was all they could do. If you enjoyed this story of betrayal, healing, and finding strength in pain, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more emotional romance stories. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to rebuild yourself after heartbreak? What would you have done in Kaito's situation? Hit the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thank you for listening, and remember, you are stronger than any pain that tries to break you.